let's explore how we might embrace our so-called flaws. This morning's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. How would you deal with facing yourself if you were the worst person in the world? How would you deal with facing yourself if you were the worst person in the world? Like, just literally scum, fucked up, the worst. I love the way this person writes. You haven't actually done anything to anyone or anything, though, but you're still just an utter waste and broken. Asking for a friend. In theory, there's a way out of that, right? Through meditation and awareness. So, I love the person who wrote this question. They're good-hearted, they're funny, they're intelligent, they're a good writer. They know their way around the English language. Well done, you. So let's begin with a bit of the old broad brushstrokes. If you were to read the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, or the DSM, which is a huge billing manual, which is used by both psychiatrists and psychologists, you would know or you'd learn that there's something called the cluster B personality disorders. And these are the baddies. Things like, and I'm going to use some of the old archaic terms because they're more meaningful to me. So we're talking about psychopathy, sociopathy, malignant narcissism, and of course, borderline personality disorder. So here is the irony. If we were suffering from those disorders, we would not be experiencing the anxiety or the dread or the suspicion that we had those disorders. We wouldn't care. We would not be upset about being human predators. We would enjoy being human predators. We would gaze out upon the vast sea of humanity around us, put on a bib, reach for the A1 steak sauce, and go to work, metaphorically speaking. So, the very fact that you and me and people like us have real dread and anxiety that we are the baddies pretty much disqualifies us from being the baddies. Now, does that mean that we are perfect, that we are the second coming of Christ, that we walk into the room and all conversation is drowned out by the sound of a choir of angels announcing our presence? No, not at all. Not even a little bit. One of the good things about the Buddha's path is that it increases our mindfulness. One of the really bad things about the Buddha's path is that it increases our mindfulness. We become so painfully aware of our prickly emotions. Things like fear and selfishness and rage and pettiness and competitiveness and the like. We become aware that not all our intentions are altruistic. Some are downright fucked up. But what if you and I were not the sum of our emotions? What if you and I were not the sum of our impulses, dark and disturbing and venal? What if we were more than that? What if who we are is determined by what we do with our emotions, with our intentions, and the like? Let's explore mindfulness and meditation from the perspective of neuroscience and what role it plays in unearthing the filthy McNasties looming through the corridors of the dungeons of our heart. And what it does to help us process them and how we can use the mechanisms involved in mindfulness and meditation to ensure that our worst drives are never given free rein. Not in a way that makes us consummate hypocrites and frauds, but that makes us spiritual heroes, like Neo in Take Two, like Neo in the final reel of the first Matrix movie. Yeah, that's some hot shit. So let's explore this together as a team right now. As the title implies, the Buddha's Eightfold Path is a path that has 8 folds. No, duh. But for some reason, I feel it teaches best when we teach it from the perspective of the 7th and 8th folds downward. Kind of like a Portuguese man of war, but not quite so prickly. So the 7th fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is mindfulness. What is the neurology behind mindfulness? Number 1. Concentration is not mindfulness. They use different parts of the brain. When we are actively concentrating or actively analyzing, we are utilizing structures in the front of our brain, such as the medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And doing that in the short term can cause our blood to collect at our amygdala. This lumpy thing here that functions as the hub, the seat of aggression and anxiety, and which is located in the metaphoric dungeon of our limbic system. Now, if we protractedly over-rely upon our prefrontal cortex, we will begin presenting with symptoms of depression, which really, really sucks. However, when we rely upon our autonomic nervous system for mindfulness and meditation, something amazing happens. So let's look at that in greater detail. The first facet of our autonomic nervous system we're going to look at is our sympathetic nervous system. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, whether we mean to or not, whether we feel it or not, we are accessing our sympathetic nervous system. No, it is not found in the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears. Where is it found? Glad you asked. The sympathetic nervous system is ensconced within the thoracic or ribcage region of our spinal cord of all places. This bad boy has not evolved to indulge either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration. Well then, what has this sympathetic nervous system evolved to do? It's evolved to perceive, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Let's face it, we never feel quite as vulnerable as when we're butt naked on a zebra, to quote our friend Eddie Murphy, which is probably why this archetype is depicted without no clothes on. So, every time we inhale, we are wired to perceive. We are wired to perceive sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. We are wired to perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Let's take a deeper dive. We're wired to notice whatever emotions come up, be they pleasurable or painful or useful or destructive or something we could take pride in or something we might feel shame over. All of them. We notice our intentions, whether they are long-lasting or fleeting, whether they are wise or foolish or brave or cowardly or kind or cruel. We notice them all. So the great irony is those of us who are the most intent on being good are the most horrified when they see all the gurk beneath the hood. ironically, those who don't give a flying fuck about others, number one, are troubled by what they see, and number two, don't even look. So let's continue. I promised I'd teach you a way to cope. Let's continue. So, there we are, sitting innocently, cross-legged, meditating. Noticing the three-ring shit show between our ears. But wait, there's more, because we are not computers, we are not digital, we are analog. We don't just experience hard things on an on and off fashion. We experience spectrums of things. From the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. Well, holy shitballs, Batman, what do we do with that shit? Glad you asked. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, whether we feel it or not, we are accessing our parasympathetic nervous system. This bad boy is ensconced within both the lower lumbar region of our spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of the thoracic region, also known as the I have trouble pronouncing this, reticular activating system. I like to call it the brainstem because, quite frankly, this kind of looks like a mushroom to me. Now I'm hungry. Brains. Okay. So, back on track. What has our parasympathetic nervous system evolved to do? It's evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So, throughout the span of a human life, we take hundreds and thousands of breaths, involuntarily, automatically, thanks to the medulla oblongata region of our brainstem. Every time we breathe in, our perception clarifies. Every time we breathe out, it softens. We don't have to force our brain to notice. We don't have to force our central nervous system to release. But we do have a choice, and the choice is, do we oppose this natural process, or do we cooperate with it? If we oppose it, we're going to be neurotic. We're going to be 14-karat neurotics, and no one wants that. So how do we get this 3-pound supercomputer to cooperate with this teeny tiny little spinal cord? The answer lies with Urkel. Our brain's a lot like Urkel, isn't it? I mean, it's intelligent and it's good-hearted, but it's klutzy as hell, isn't it? Like right now, I mean, how many times does my chin hit this damn microphone? But our brain is klutzy as hell, but it has a heart of gold. So we ask our brain to please silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. It will, and it will cooperate more fully with our sympathetic nervous system. Additionally, if we ask our brain to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, it will, and consequently, it will cooperate more fully with our the release mechanism of our parasympathetic nervous system. This is the key to living with ourselves, to living with the knowledge that we are not just puppies and kittens and rainbows, that we have the full spectrum of emotions and intentions. But wait, I don't just want to endure. I don't just want to get really, really good at pretending I'm not horrible. I actually want to be good, and I'm pretty sure you do too. So how do we pull this trick off? Glad you asked. The answer is twofold. First type. I told you before that when we over-rely upon our prefrontal cortex, our amygdala lights up, and eventually we begin presenting with the symptoms of depression, which suck. No one says, I'm experiencing a deficiency of aggression, anxiety, and sorrow. I'm going to increase them. No one does that. So, here's the good news. When we learn to give our prefrontal cortex a break and let it rest in the shade, panting like a German shepherd that's been playing with its friends in the summertime sun, we let it take a rest. And we let our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system take over. Something amazing happens. And I promised you this. As confirmed by functional magnetic resonance imaging studies, or fMRIs, our blood mass shifts from our amygdala to this thing that looks kind of like the inverted letter C. This thing that kind of looks like a catcher's mitt. This thing that the big kids describe as the anterior cingulate gyrus. This thing that functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy and compassion and love. This is why the greatest Dzogchen Lamas of Tibet have insisted that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. So, the less we analyze, the less we concentrate, the more we practice mindfulness and meditation and harmony with our autonomic nervous system, the greater access we will have to the neural pathways responsible for empathy. But wait, there's more. What's the most efficient way to get this empathy on autopilot? For that, the answer to that question is encoded within this image. Consider this gal the color of a cumulus cloud. Observe how she appears to be actively sporting an tantric union. This reminds us that contrivance will always be trumped by spontaneity. Consider her partner the color of the azure sky. Notice how he appears to be passively savoring the same tantric union. This root teaches us, number one, that there are several flavors of spontaneity, and number two, that the scattered spontaneity we might experience, like after we've had our third espresso, the scattered spontaneity we might experience will always be trumped by the centered spontaneity that is the effortless byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. But wait, there's more. The more that our choices and our utterances and our deeds flow with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, the more that our lives could be like the real or imagined paradise or pure land, or if you prefer Sanskrit, vati of a real or imagined Buddha. So obviously I'm speaking metaphorically. Bottom line, the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path are the dynamo that turns the pulleys and the wheels and the shafts and the cogs and the gears of the metaphoric enlightenment machine. They are that which drive the effortless effort that is the sixfold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, the right view of change that is the first fold of the Eightfold Path, and the various facets of loving kindness that constitute 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. All of this are driven by mindfulness and meditation. That is why I look forward to practicing the fine details with you together as a team after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Okay, together as a team, let us turn our attention to the latest iteration of Kind Gaze Easy Meditation. We have a whole bunch of techniques to play with, so we won't have to worry about boredom. We're going to begin with a technique, calling the teacher as from afar is simply a metaphor for working with our energy. Please chant with me. May Lama come to this crown, may Lama come to this crown. May Lama come to this crown, may Lama come to this crown. May Lama come to this crown, may Lama come to this crown. And now, just like we explored during the lesson, let us actually do the deal and bring whatever we spontaneously notice into the path of awareness and letting go. By the way, the irony is that this first set of mindfulness meditation, primed by that first energy work and energy exercise, makes letting go the easiest. That's weird. Okay, now we come to another form of energy work that is metaphorically described as union with the teacher. Lama blend with hot mind, Lama blend with hot mind. Lama blend with hot mind, Lama blend with hot mind. Lama blend with hot mind, Lama blend with hot mind. Now let us bring the four bases of mindfulness into the practice of love and letting go. Rather than indulge all controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us accept the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. One moment, if you please. I must edit. All right, here we go. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me while I edited, and hopefully I didn't get you too dizzy. Let us review the mantra's meaning. Om I invoke the wish of ending money, jewel of love, and the purifying baby lotus of letting go. Supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as a mind ever real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tea-clay one syllable seed or bija mantra. So here's the trick to mantra meditation. During the inhalation, so we take all these words and we condense them down to just 6 syllables. During our inhalation, we silently, mentally, and passively recite these 6 syllables. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all relationships, all speech of all beings, no be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by the six audible mantra. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, let's go back and hit this button. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Okay, here we go. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful Halcyon and Buddhist statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Devi or Yatama, an archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune open. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, spirit land of Vanti. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Let us bring the four bases of mindfulness into the figurative practice of the rainbow body. All visible circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. As we breathe in, so we can take all these words and squish them down to just 6 syllables, which we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. And as we do so, we will viscerally experience, we could viscerally experience how although our circumstances are visible, they're not quite as tangible as they might seem. All sensual bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. All resounding interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. All lucid minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. In our compassion may we long to free. Oopsie, one moment. And let's say copy. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism may our liberation of all others be fueled by our reliance on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Having sat for the better part of 75 minutes, we might find it refreshing to practice a bit of the old geriatric slide back squat thrusts while reciting the essence of bodhicitta and refuge. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Oh. All right. May we free all through the three jewels. 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 Let us seal this morning's practice by chanting love and letting go's wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void no be as enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable bija. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void no be as loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by a multi-syllable mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as healthy as a yet dark archetype depicted in Buddha's statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void no be as fortunate as a pure land of law represented in Buddhist paintings. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And